Hi everyone, I'm Margo Treadwell. I'm an intern with Traklife, and I'm so excited to be sitting here with Ashlyn Uribe from North Carolina. So, how are you, Ashlyn? It's good to talk to you, not on the phone.
Good. I know, for real. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited that you're here. I can't wait to hear more about your music. So, to start us
Thank
off,
you.
yeah, I really just kind of want to hear about how you got your start in music and, like, what made you want to put out your own music? What made you want to start creating?
Yeah, well, my background is actually in acting primarily. Like I've been singing my whole life, but I did a lot of musical theater as a kid in middle school and in high school. Did it through college too, did vocal training as well. But after college, I decided to try out the New York thing, like actor life grind, and did it for 6 months and was like, this is not for me. Like, I want to create my own art, like my own content with my own stories behind it. So I moved back to Charlotte, which is where I'm based now, and started writing my own music and met my now producer and manager. And I met my producer first. And we started working together and putting out tracks, and that's kind of how it started.
That's awesome. Do you like North Carolina better than New York?
I don't know if I like it better. I just know that city, like living in New York City, wasn't for me. I still really love New York City. I'm happy in Charlotte though right now, but I'm definitely open to like moving again to another city.
Yeah, I applaud people who live in New York City. Like, I feel like that would just be so
Yeah.
stressful. I don't know, and so busy. But I mean, people say that they love it. So,
Yeah, it was
go
tough.
ahead. Yeah, no, especially. I mean, were you there? Were you there during the pandemic?
No, I moved January 2019. So also like I why did I choose January? Like dead of the winter to move, don't know. Kind of the worst time, but yeah, I moved January 2019 and lived there until like June.
Gotcha. Okay. So,
Yeah.
your latest single, "Can't Teach Me," was released a little over a year ago. I love it. I have it in one of my pop playlists. It's really good.
Oh,
Um,
yay.
yes, but I was wondering if you could just tell me about what it was like releasing that during the pandemic and, like, I guess, like, just take us through the release of that single.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was definitely like when I first moved here and met my producer and like other artists that I like collaborate with now and like who are my friends, I did not know what I was doing. Like fully admit that, like I'll say it, did not know. I mean, I knew I loved writing and I was like good enough at writing and that singing was my passion and storytelling and all of that, but I did not know the industry very well. So when I released my first two singles, those like pre-pandemic, I definitely got like they got a lot of streams and like people were liking them, so that gave me the confidence to like push further into the industry and be like, okay, I want to keep doing this. Like I want to do a full EP, I want to do an album. So releasing Can't Teach Me like during the height of the pandemic was like honestly like before the release, to be completely like transparent, I was discouraged. I was afraid because I was like, I don't even know how to push it. There was so much going on, like so many other like important things were going on in the world. So I had no idea really how to navigate it, but tried my best. And this was before I really got into like all of the marketing and like press that I've been working on this year, which has been huge for me. So I am just thankful that people vibed with it, honestly, because I was released in such a difficult time, and I tried like pulling from other ideas that I had at the time that would work like virtually to like help promote it. We did an in studio, like a live in studio recording, like kind of in studio concert. I've only released one song from it, Take Your Time. It's on YouTube on my channel. But we have other tracks and covers to release that are still like backlogged. But that kind of helped with promoting it. But it was hard. I mean, it was weird to navigate for sure.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I feel like it'd be interesting to researched the correlation between everybody like working from home and having like increased access to their phones and like, like the music of emerging artists? I don't know. I feel like that's probably interesting.
Yeah, I would love to. It would help me to probably to look more into that and do more research because that's where everyone lives now. Especially like everyone was already living online, but now especially after like the pandemic and like coming kind of back into like the swing of things. It's like people are still living online, and that's like where most of the push comes from, like for emerging artists especially.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, like even things that everybody thought, could never work online, like they're staying online now. I don't know, like people who have jobs that were always thought to, like they had to be in person, they don't anymore. So it's just really interesting to see how like that whole, I don't know, it's just weird to see like our world changing in that way.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I remembered when we featured you on episode 15 of Homemade Sessions, you mentioned that you love Dolly Parton. And I am from Tennessee, so naturally, like, I have to love Dolly and I love her. But I was wondering if she, like, would you say that she is one of your inspirations for your music? Or, like, I guess, who else would you consider to be your inspirations?
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, I grew up with Dolly. Like my parents and my grandparents like loved Dolly. Like they were always like as soon as I started singing when I was like 7 or 8 years old, like when I was just singing all the time, and I was like the national anthem kid. So like my dad is a soccer coach, and I joke that my dad got me better gigs like when I was a kid than I have now, or like more gigs at least, not better, but like more gigs because I was like singing. I was like the national anthem kid, or I would sing at like, I remember once singing at this like random museum opening in West Virginia, and it was like a like excuse me, Tennessee, West Virginia, like Singers Hall of Fame type thing. Like it was a museum that had like Patsy Cline, Dolly Parton, like all these like big vocalists of that time, like mid century of like mid 20th century like singers. Like I forget the name of the museum, but so she was a big part of like what got me into like, I wouldn't call her like her genre my influence, but I would say like her as her like presence is a huge influence like as an artist, like the way that she presents herself like so big and femme and like just like bold is my influence for sure. Like I love that about her.
Yeah, that's really cool. Um, like, who else would you say are your inspirations for your music?
Well, I would be lying if I didn't say Ariana Grande. I've been a fan for as long as I can remember, her, like from her releasing her first album. She's a huge influence vocally. Just like her range and her training, the style, the way that she sings. Yeah, just vocally, she's a big influence for me. But I'd also say like lyrically, people like people like SZA are a huge influence. I think that SZA is one of the best like vocalists, or I'm sorry, vocalists for sure, but like also one of the best lyricists and like storytellers of our time. If I'm
Yeah,
being
I
like,
remember listening to Can't Teach Me when you performed it on Homemade Sessions, and I was like, I think a couple of us in the comments were like, this is like, it sounds like Ariana Grande. Like, you literally had that vibe, and I don't know, it was really good. But yeah,
thank you,
I love
thanks.
Ariana too.
Thanks. I love all of these people. I'm at, it's like a tricky, I appreciate that so much, but it's like this tricky feeling because you like the feeling of being told like, oh, this reminds me of Ariana, or this reminds me of so and so. You sound like, I mean, of course that's like the best compliment ever, but it's also like as an emerging artist, I'm like, I want to use these people as my influence, but I also want to write like myself. I want to sing like myself. I want to
Yeah,
stay true to like my own brand and create my own brand so that that stands out as it's on its own, you know? So it's like a
yeah.
tricky balance of
And
things.
I feel like you have that though. Like I mean, your Spotify presence, like I feel like the three songs that are on your Spotify, they all have like, I don't know, like I feel like you could say that they have like your sound to them, which is like, kind of like the bedroom pop, like, I don't know, just with really good lyrics. So I mean, I
Thank
think that
you.
you're doing a good job with your sound.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That definitely is very validating to hear.
Good. So then, so once you moved from New York to Charlotte, like how would you say your music fits into this like the music scene there?
Yeah, I mean, I owe it honestly all to, well, a lot of it. I owe a lot of it to Natalie Carr, who is also a Charlotte-based performer. She's doing big things. She's great. She just had her first show in the city. And then also my producer, Michael Fenster, my partner. Those two, I mean, it was honestly like, it sounds cheesy to say, but like angels. Like they came in, like as soon as I moved back, I met them and they were already friends and collaborators in like the local industry. So they kind of were my like escorts into like the Charlotte music scene. Um, and I think honestly, I mean, it's still it's a big enough city that like there's artists that are big now like that have come out of Charlotte. So that's encouraging to remember. Like DaBaby is one of like the biggest ones that have come out of Charlotte, but it's like it can be discouraging and encouraging because it's such like a it's the size of the city is such a middle ground. Like finding your vein can be tricky, but I think I have found my vein and I've found like my local supporters and my collaborators and like artists that I vibe with and like want to work with, especially this year, like reaching out more to like the venues here and planning on booking more shows has been big. So I think that I'm starting to find my pocket. Whereas like in 2019, I had no idea. Like I was just sad. I was just like bummed that New York didn't work. And I'm from like the area, like not like right in Charlotte, but I'm like from nearby. So I've been here, like, I mean, this is my city. So
That's great that you had like people to help you out when you got back and everything. Because I mean, I'm sure that was tough coming back and wanting to
yeah,
focus on your music, but also kind of at the same time being sad that you had to come back home.
yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
so I, so I know you're planning to release a new song in, is it the next couple weeks or months or?
Yes, it's been like I need to get it together because I feel so bad for people that have been seeing me post about it and like the dates have been changing, but it's just because like I have been working so much on press and marketing and like I now have a manager that is like helping me plan the release and some other marketing mutuals that I know that are helping me, like Spotify curators that are helping plan the release. So I wanted to make sure before this last one came out that everything was ready because it's going to be the fourth and final in like the EP. Um, and the title of the EP will be called Take Your Time, which is the name of my first released single and makes a lot of sense to me because it has taken time, like to get everything, like just to come into my own with it and like
Yeah.
as an artist. So it's coming out. It is coming out within the next like a few weeks. It is coming out within the next 2 weeks. The mastered, we already have the master back. So like everything is set and ready. I actually have a meeting with my manager Thursday to plan a specific date for the release and like prior to that when pre-saves will start happening. So that is something I will be posting about on my socials this week.
That's so exciting. I can't wait. So what should we expect? I mean, does it
Thanks.
think it has a similar sound to your other songs?
Yes and no. I mean, it's still in the vein of I am a pop artist through and through. Like I'm an indie pop artist. I don't want to like ever box myself in, but that is it's what I'm good at. It's what I want to do. This song has some EDM influence in it too, which was unexpected. I knew from the start that um, I want because the lyrics and the story of this song are pretty heavy. Like the context is heavy. I think I wanted to juxtapose that with, especially once you get into the chorus, something that is big and like vampy and EDM inspired, mixed with pop, which is like the main genre of like everything I released. But so and we're planning. I think I am comfortable enough to say this now because this is the plan. This is going to be my first. This song will be have my first full music video, and it's going to be a dance video. So I'm excited about that.
That is so exciting. I was just about to ask you if you had like any plans, like live performances or music or lyric videos. So that's so exciting to hear. I'm excited that
Yeah.
I was one of the first people to know about it. I can't wait for it.
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited you were. Yeah. I'm pumped. I'm amped about it because I am ready. I'm ready for a video. I'm ready
Yes,
to put one out. I'm ready to create one. We've got people that are ready to be a part, and I'm like really happy about it. So
that'll be great. Yeah, I will definitely be looking forward to that. So, I just have one more question, and it is if you could talk to the younger version of yourself before you released any music, what piece of advice would you give her about creating?
ooh, that's good. I would say I really wish I could talk to my college self because my college self was going so much off of like what I thought I wanted, what I thought I had to do because the people, I mean, my upbringers were so encouraging. I'm so lucky to have people that like encouraged me to be an artist, and wanted like were okay. Like I know there's so many people whose parents like are very invalidating of like that career path. So I'm thankful for that. But I think I would definitely want to tell my younger self to like slow down, because I mean, yeah, like take my time, with not necessarily momentum with creating or anything, but like slow down with, um, I think mentally and emotionally, like I wasn't giving myself time to process how I was feeling about where I was at and like wanting to move to New York and like do something that I like deep down really didn't want to do anymore. So I think I would just tell myself to like reflect more and give myself way more grace. And I tell myself, my present self, that I do not give myself enough credit and grace. I'm always like, what's next? What's next? This isn't enough. Like, this isn't good enough. What's next? Which is good, momentum wise. Like, I want to keep, it's a tricky balance because I want to keep moving and creating and I don't want to like slow down in that sense, but I want to give myself credit where credit is due. And I'm not good at that. um,
And especially in college, I feel, I mean, because I'm a senior, like I'm graduating in December. So I feel like I just have always been like rushing it. And I've always just been like, okay, well, got to find a job or something. And it's just,
yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, you just got to slow down and be like, okay, well, you're only in college once. Like you're only whatever age you are at like once. And so it's just like, you don't need to rush things. And I would also go back and tell myself that too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm glad you can resonate with that because I think that if I realized that sooner, maybe things would be different. But I'm so thankful.
Yes. Well, so that's all the questions that I have for you. It was so great talking with you, and I'll be sure to be promoting the new single and the music video when it's released. And yeah, everybody go stream Can't Teach Me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, Margo.
Yes, it was. I will talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Bye.